Hello and welcome to Bytes of Health, where we hope to take a bite out of your parent worries each day with sound advice and guidance. Every morning, we'll answer a commonly asked pediatric question in 5 minutes or less. I'm Dr. Jess Steier, a public health scientist, and today I'm joined by our amazing pediatrician bestie, Dr. Dina DiMaggio. Hello, Dina.
Hi, Jess.
All right. Well, I'm excited because today we are going to talk about the American Academy of Pediatrics policy statement on e-cigarettes, electronic cigarettes. The clock is ticking, so let's get to it. I just want to preface this by saying this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. As a public health scientist, I actually worked in the world of tobacco control and tobacco policy evaluation for many years. I actually lost my father to COPD as a result of his smoking for many decades. So I'm really excited that we're tackling this. So why are we talking about it? There is a dramatic rise of teens who use electronic cigarettes, and e-cigarettes are now by far the most commonly used tobacco product among middle and high school students. Children may be more prone to using them with their enticing candy or fruit flavors, which are, of course, aimed at children, and they're very cool designs. So they sometimes look like cigarettes or pipes or pens. Some of them look like USB flash drives, fidget spinners, asthma inhalers, or even toys. And unfortunately, they're often perceived by teens as less harmful than typical cigarettes. However, what happens is, especially if they're smoking nicotine-containing e-cigs, they often get addicted to the nicotine, and then that could either become an addiction or it can lead to their smoking typical cigarettes. So obviously, this is a big problem. Dina, do you maybe want to walk us through what are e-cigarettes?
Yeah, I agree. This is like a topic near and dear to me because I'm literally seeing like every other week, like one of these new shiny smoke stores pop up in New York City. And it's so easy for teens just to go in there and get these cigarettes. So according to the AAP, the liquid solution used in e-cigarettes or vape juice or e-liquid that is often flavored usually contains nicotine, like you mentioned, and other chemicals, including carcinogens. So e-cigarettes can be used to also vape marijuana too. Nicotine can have these long-lasting damaging effects on adolescent brain development and affect attention, learning, mood, and even impulse control. And it's especially harmful for these teens since nicotine is so very addictive. And the earlier that someone uses nicotine, the more difficult it is to quit later. And using nicotine in adolescence may also increase the risk of future substance use disorders. The solution in e-cigarette devices and vapor can also contain chemicals like antifreeze, and aldehydes like formaldehyde. I mean, it's crazy what's in these things. Formaldehyde is a cardiovascular toxin. And finally, there have been outbreaks of e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury or vaping associated pulmonary injury. So this is really serious. And, even in February of 2020, there have been more than 2,800 hospitalizations and 68 deaths from using these cigarettes across the United States. And I personally saw during COVID that more kids that, were doing these e-cigarettes were being hospitalized with COVID than kids that were not using these cigarettes.
And, I'm so happy that we're talking about the harmful effects of nicotine, because I think people assume that e-cigarettes are safe because they're not combustible. And yes, they are safer in that sense than the traditional cigarettes, but nicotine itself can absolutely be harmful, could lead to something called popcorn lung. Nicotine affects immune function. It also affects wound healing and many other things. So nicotine in and of itself is harmful. So, Dina, what does the AAP recommend?
So the AAP is recommending that the FDA should better regulate these e-cigarettes and ban their sales to kids under 21 years old. Internet sales of these e-cigarettes and e-cigarette solutions should be banned. Efforts should be made to make them less enticing to children by banning kid-friendly flavors. I often have kids coming in with, saying that they like these flavors like Oreo cookie and like these crazy things that are obviously targeted towards children. There's advertising and promotion of e-cigarettes that are accessible to youth should be banned. And pediatricians should screen for e-cigarette use and counsel about the negative health effects. I've been doing this for a while, and I started in the last few years really having to ask children about vaping. Even in my kid's middle school, and she's in 6th grade, she saw that there was kids in her age that were going into the bathroom and vaping in between classes. So it's a real issue. Don't assume your child's not doing it. You have to ask the questions in order to really know.
All right. Well, I learned something. We hope you learned something, and we have lots more to share. You can get your Bite of Health every day, Monday through Friday. If you like what you've heard here, let us know. Leave us a review on Apple and be sure to tell your friends. Remember, there is no single or best way to parent. Parenting is a journey, and we are all just doing our very best. We wish you happy, healthy, and stress-free parenting.